Hiya, kids.
Woo!
Welcome back after a non-ceremonious absence. Let me tell you this, and it's been totally, completely, utterly unplanned. This has just been a summer, Dan, of just, well, for me personally, and my husband, of unexpected expenses and just a roller coaster of just nonstop craziness. some of it's been fun, but mostly it's just been really stressful.
I could imagine,
but I feel like I feel like I'm kind of getting my footing back.
You're ready to record some stuff again.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little more normalcy back in my life, and
it's good to hear.
So yeah, hey, I'm Bo.
Oh yeah, that's Bo.
Yeah, and with you is your co-host Dan.
That's me. Hey, you know what you should do?
Mm-hmm.
You should go to badpopsong.com. Go check out previous episodes, everything Bo, like some music videos done by him as well, and some write-ups on films and things.
Indeed.
Nice.
Yes.
All things Bo. Go check it out.
Well, without further ado, I just want to jump right into it.
Yes.
You can only guess, Dan, what this episode is about.
Raspberry cheesecake.
Oh, doesn't that sound delicious?
It does. But that's not why we're here, huh?
Yeah. Maybe raspberry cheesecake a little later. We are here to discuss the Toronto International Film Festival 2024.
Like it says on your shirt.
Yes. Well, yeah, this is their year-round programming of Japanese.
Oh, nice.
Films. But yes, it's been about 2 weeks since I've been there, and per usual, I had a grand old time. It was crazy, hectic, exhilarating, and since actors are no longer on strike, there was plenty of are we allowed to swear in this? Have I sworn yet? Yeah, there was plenty of star fucking. You know, it felt normal again. You know.
We're definitely kowtowing to their egos, huh?
I sent your mom some pics that I got. My pics are always the greatest because I stand pretty far away. Or
you're not adventuresome in order to sneak in the seat up front.
Well, it's hard. You're battling a lot of the diehard fans.
Oh, the ravenous people.
Yeah. I mean these fans. Some of them I think pay to stand in these fan areas. These fan zones.
Oh my.
And yeah, but I mean, there's still always, even if you're not in the fan zone, there's always an area where you can, if you're lucky, somebody will get tired or restless and will walk away, and you can just sort of jump into that spot, even though you're behind the gate. So you
have a close up view of the back of somebody's head.
Yes. Well, no, I mean more than that. They'll move around enough. They'll be on the red carpet, and they know everybody's trying to get pictures of them. So the celebrities will walk from one corner to the next, and then everybody's screaming, "Look over here! Look over here!" So you'll catch a decent shot. Some pictures are better than others.
But, yeah, that's the usual.
I will say, Kevin, my colleague, he got a lot of celebrity pics. He's a lot more into the full TIFF experience because this is his second TIFF.
Aha.
So he, this is going on my 10th. So I mean, no, it's still exciting and it's exhilarating, but I've calmed down a bit.
Yeah.
And I have to pace myself, and I've got to make. I always make these jokes that I say I'm gonna sort of record or write some kind of instructional on how to survive in an international film festival. When when to eat, shit, and shower.
Yes, yes, the important things.
Yeah, when to find time to do all those things and do them properly.
Yeah, it's probably like the difference between like a freshman in college versus the senior in college. You know, a freshman in college, he's brand new to it. He's jumping out of buildings and being generally stupid just to have fun. And meanwhile, the senior you has been there for a while, so you're like, you know what? I need to focus on my job. And keeping myself alive and stress free.
Yeah, again, it's all that. How to eliminate the stress, find more time to rest, and that kind of thing, and which means you'll have to sacrifice a movie here and there.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, I got up early for 2 days. I need to sleep in today.
Yeah,
or I. It is. It's each time you learn more.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not like if you miss a movie, you're not going to see it later. It's not being only shown at TIFF, or is there?
Yeah, I mean there is always the opportunity. A lot of the times, if there's something I miss, there will be some sort of opportunity as a film industry professional to see it, maybe at another festival,
yeah,
or through some kind of an award screening or something,
right.
Or just when it
just shows up on Disney.
Yeah, sometimes it's close enough to the nationwide release that you won't have to wait too long. So it just depends, and there are definitely films this year that it was really tough to get into my schedule.
Oh yeah,
because there's so much overlap. So many of the buzzy films, as I've discussed in our probably last year's TIFF episode.
Oh yeah,
it's not uncommon for all the buzzy films to have press and industry screenings all at like 9 a.m. on Sunday. So it's really hard. And then there's the whole challenge because the press and industry people we get like an allotment of public screening tickets too, and those are really hard to get in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
So you just sort of have to be patient, and after the first full weekend of the festival, it'll start on Thursday, and probably right around Monday it's a lot easier to start scoring public tickets. So it's just you can't really plan everything. You got to do a lot of planning before you leave, but there's a lot of planning that happens when you're there. So
yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you saw.
Okay, in no particular order.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and start with a drama romance called We Live in Time.
We Live in Time.
And it is about a UK couple and 10 years out of their life.
Okay.
And it kind of jumps back and forth. It's a little out of sequence, but it's snapshots of their life together for a 10-year period.
Okay. Sounds like pretty standard art house fare.
Well, art house, I wouldn't call it art house.
Okay.
There is something very mainstream.
All right.
It's a very mainstream film.
Right.
Has some very mainstream actors. But the movie is full of like intense emotion, intense performances. Because you see them building a home, building a life, and it's very moving. And there's some definite Oscar-worthy performances from both Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield, who are the stars of the film. It is directed by John Crowley, and John Crowley does a really good job at emotion and dialogue heavy sort of type stuff. He made Brooklyn. He made Boy A, which is a movie he did with Andrew Garfield. When Andrew Garfield was still younger, I think before Spider-Man, all that stuff.
That was my next question.
Intense emotional dramas. John Crowley has made his mark with that. So yeah, we live in time. There is a limited release in the US on October 11th, and then it gets a full nationwide release on October 18th.
All right. So is there no necessary? There isn't necessarily like a plot twist to it or anything like that. It's just sort of a like you said, a snapshot view of everything. So there's nothing really like, building up towards the big bombshell at the end or anything. It's one of those sorts of films that's like, here's just some people living their life.
Well, it's a couple living their life and being happy and being in love and living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And and the Florence Pugh character, she is a chef and she's a restaurant owner.
Okay.
And just sort of how she's balancing that, and there are some very extenuating things in the movie that happens in life.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you're watching it in the film, you're just like, oh, she's. I mean, one. I don't want to give too much away, but I will talk about how she gives birth to her child in like a mini mart. In a mini mart restroom.
That was not planned.
and some other just unforeseen circumstances that and how they deal with it. And
so who is this film for in general?
I think it is for I think it's for people who like romance type dramas. But I will prepare you though, it's not a rom-com or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you like to see a nice, tender, emotional story about a couple and a couple their lives together and all their challenges and the conflicts and the compromising and those things, if you like to see that, this is your movie.
Interesting. So, do you want to tell us where this would fit in your film festival?
Oh, yes. We've been gone for so long.
Yes, you've forgotten about the whole shtick.
How the formatting works.
So, let me explain. You have a film festival that runs from Saturday at noon all the way to Sunday at noon. So you have, the Saturday afternoon, overnight, Sunday morning, all these time slots to fill with film. Does this get a showing at your 24-hour film festival, and when?
Oh, this is definitely a Friday or Saturday night feature.
Prime time.
All right, definitely the good slot too, like 8.
Is that just because you think it has mass appeal?
It has mass appeal, and again, the caliber of actors in it and the performances.
I mean, there are 2 names that I've heard of before, so that's a huge thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, you can't be any bigger than these 2 actors right now.
True.
They're kind of everywhere, and it's it's a buzzy film, and I would put it in the buzzy category in my film festival, so that's why I would put it at that primetime slot.
Also, she has a very fun name. Pugh.
Yes. Florence Pugh. I also love the fact that Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield in We Live in Time are speaking in their native tongue. They are actually English in this movie. And so many films you see them in, they
have to do an American.
Or they're Russian, because
Oh yeah.
And the funny thing is too, I mean, they're speaking of that, they're both in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
He's in the old one, but but yeah, no, it's nice to see them actually just be British.
that is always enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, your native tongue.
Oh, yes.
Or accent or whatever.
So
anything else you want to share on that, or you want to move on to the next?
I feel like I've said everything I need to say.
All right.
And I appreciate the questions.
All
so
right. I'm not delving into like ultra details because we have a few movies to cover here.
We do. We might be doing a couple episodes.
Oh, we'll see how it goes, how it shakes out.
Again, this is I'm not dropping these in any particular order.
Mhm.
These are just the movies that have stayed with me.
The ones that kept you thinking afterwards.
Oh yeah, these are movies that have stayed with me throughout the festival after I saw it, and then seeing from one film to another. You know, this particular movie is still staying with me, and now hey, this new movie is going to stay with me. So
thinking about them as you're trying to fall asleep at night.
Yeah, and they're not based on any reviews or buzziness or anything like that.
This is your personal faves.
These are just my personal faves.
Excellent.
So the next one I'm really excited to talk about.
Okay.
Nightbitch.
Nightbitch.
which is a dramedy, kind of a horror, kind of a comedy.
Sounds like
sort of a movie. And it is, I feel like it is Marielle Heller's crowning achievement.
Okay.
And Marielle Heller has brought us, she brought us A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood where Tom Hanks played Fred Rogers. She brought us Can You Ever Forgive Me, which gave us the Oscar-nominated performance by Melissa McCarthy. And who can forget, of course, the coming-of-age dramedy, The Diary of a Teenage Girl, starring the adorable Belle Powley. Such a good performance for her in that film. So, but honestly, I think Nightbitch is filmmaker Marielle Heller's crowning achievement.
Okay.
And
tell us about it. What is this movie? Because the title has me intrigued.
It stars Amy Adams.
Okay.
And she plays a woman who gave up her career to be a stay-at-home mom.
That was not the explanation I was expecting.
Well, hold on. And in the stresses of motherhood, she begins to turn into a dog.
What?
Yes, little by little, in the stresses of day-to-day motherhood, and just with this, the crying and the cleaning and the cooking and the shopping, she starts to unravel. She starts to sort of lose it, and then she starts to realize that she's growing a tail and certain other things that the dogs have. She has like these dog
multiple teats.
Funny you should mention that, but yeah. So one spoiler alert. Yes, that starts happening to her as well. You're quite savvy, Dan.
Hey,
million points to you. And just there's this really great scene where she's at the park with her son, and she sees like there's a bunch of dogs. And they all flock to them, and they're having a good time. That her son and herself, they're like having fun playing with the dogs, and they run away. And like a dog, she's like, "Hey, wait a minute!" And then she takes her son. She's like, "Let's go back and be with the dogs," because you know how you like dogs. Like, hey, we want to be.
It's mob mentality.
We all need to be together. I want to be with you guys. So So I don't know. Before I go any further, like, is there something you want to ask or?
Oh my goodness. This sounds like a wacky movie. Is it trying to be a comedy, or is it?
I find it less. It is funny. It has those funny moments, because the certain interactions, like, when she's dealing with other mothers, for instance, like, she'll go to because initially she's not relating to the other mothers, and because it's that whole sort of condescending thing where they're not trying to be, but they're just like, they just seem to be embracing motherhood, and it's everything for them, and it just seems so effortless, and she seems to be having such a rough time with it. So there's some comedy in that.
Okay, but it's not the main focus of it.
It's not the main focus of it, but it's a big part of it.
So is the turning into a dog metaphorical then? Or at least supposed to be seen as a metaphor, or is it just something that happens?
I think it is your own interpretation, but I'll just go into a little more description. Maybe that'll help answer.
Okay, yeah, because right now I'm thinking like Shaggy Dog or something, and that's just not completely the idea. It sounds like.
Well, okay, let's just say it's less animalistic and primal than I thought it was going to be going
Okay.
into it. Because I read about this before seeing it, and
Yeah.
I was really, really looking forward to going in and seeing it. And I thought it was going to be like pretty primal and animalistic, like you said,
More like a werewolf
yeah,
transition.
exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking it was going to be. But again, it's less animalistic and primal, and it's more heartwarming. The heartwarming sort of takes over all of that.
How weird.
And you realize it's just about her own self-discovery, and
Where
that
she discovers she's a dog.
self-discovery in that she's more than just one thing.
Okay.
She realizes I can be more than just a mom. You know, and you know, because she's an artist too. You know, and
then now she can be a dog that paints.
Now, as far as the dog stuff, I mean, there's some really cool folklore in it too. There's cool folklore in it. There's
so there is an explanation.
There is an explanation for it, and I don't want to spoil too much,
right?
Other than saying yes, it's cool folklore.
Interesting.
I love one of the things I love about the film is that it's a very woman empowering narrative. Okay, and you know I love those.
Oh yeah,
and my favorite line in the film when she's really coming to terms with, because again, I without giving too much away, I feel like the whole process, you know, where she is turning into a dog, you know, but physically not quite yet, right? You know, right? But it's sort of helping her in her parenting skills. And of course her husband, and that's a superb performance by Scoot McNairy, and he's great as her husband. Okay, and sort of watching him, you know, sort of witness dealing with everything she's going through.
So everybody else is fully aware that she is turning into a dog.
No, not quite.
Okay,
but again, since it's affecting her parenting and making
so he's seeing
making life easier for her, he's sort of seeing it as sort of unusual, unconventional kind of parenting. Yeah, but you know, he's off traveling though all the time, so he's a good guy. I will say that the Scoot McNairy character is a good guy. He's
it's modern American life,
but again, woman empowering. The woman empowering narrative, and one of my favorite lines in the film, as she's sort of embracing what's happening to her, and she's realizing how superior of a being that she is and that can be. There's a scene in the library sing along with all the, because the mothers bring their kids.
I thought this was like suddenly it's a musical halfway through the movie.
No, she's at the library sing along with the other mothers, and the mothers are actually starting to relate, like they like not just to her, but she's also enlightening them to the fact of how hard their jobs are, being a woman and also having to raise a child. And there's this line in the movie where she's talking to the mothers, and she says, "We are gods." And it's such a great line. It's such a great line, and it really just lights a spark in the rest of the mothers, and then they realize, you know, we're going through these same things too, you know. So I would definitely recommend this movie to all mothers raising small children, stay at home or otherwise.
So every mother needs to go out and see this.
Every mother or any stressed out parent.
Yeah,
any stressed out parent. I don't want to limit it to just the mothers, because I think everybody can get something out of this movie.
Just drop your youngling with the grandparents and go see the film.
Yeah. And you might see your kid in a different way, you know.
Right.
So yeah, what else?
When does this go in your festival?
Oh yes. Again, this is a prime time.
Oh, okay.
Film. Yes, this is a Friday night prime time kind of movie. It's Amy Adams.
That's true.
Yeah. It's Amy Adams. Then definitely there's already like some Oscar buzz on her for this performance. So, and it is a pretty fantastic performance.
Okay.
It is, I will say, it is currently, playing the film fest circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll play Chicago's film festival later in October.
Okay.
And we'll get a nationwide release on December the 6th.
Okay. Just in time for Christmas.
Exactly.
Take your youngsters and your furries.
Definitely. Anything else on?
Now let's move on to the next film.
Okay, I'm just kind of going all over the place with this.
Oh, go ahead. It's a wonderful roller coaster ride here.
This is a fun Vatican thriller called Conclave.
Vatican thriller.
Yeah, and it's directed by Edward Berger, who directed the All Quiet on the Western Front remake.
Okay.
That did well.
Mm-hmm.
In the last award season, and got a lot of attention. I mean, it's a great film, and Volker Bertelmann, who did the score for All Quiet on the Western Front, also did the score for this.
Okay.
And both films, it sort of has like this fast, kind of swift, jarring kind of music that doesn't last long, but it makes you uncomfortable,
a little anxiety inducing,
right? Because it's more than just like dissonant sort of sounding, but yeah, it's a really cool score, and it's got a great cast. It's Ray Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, Isabella Rossellini.
Wow.
Lucian Msamati, one of my favorite Tanzanian actors. He is he's so good with comedy, he's so good with emotion, he's so good with just desperation and sort of combining that with like comedy and
okay.
You know how some good actors can make like
right
stuff work.
They can easily slide between different
and Lucian Msamati is one of those actors. He's Tanzanian Brazilian.
Okay.
And I've always liked his work, particularly in the Number One Ladies Detective Agency, which was a favorite television show of mine on HBO that was on many years ago.
Eons.
And another great performance in the film is by Carlos Diaz. Carlos Diaz is Mexican, and he gives a great performance. All these actors I'm mentioning, with the exception of Isabella Rossellini, they all play cardinals.
Oh,
and then it is Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes
is the
he has to pronounce his name weird.
Did I pronounce that right the first time?
Yes.
Okay, good. Ray Fiennes is the Conclave. He's the one that and they are picking the Pope. So they are all they all sequester in the Sistine Chapel.
So it's sort of a 12 Angry Men with Catholicism.
Not bad. Not bad. I think another 1,000,000 points for you.
Hey.
Yeah, basically I mean, yeah, for a film about picking the Pope, it's pretty riveting.
Wow.
So yeah, you see them all, they lock the Sistine Chapel and they're all in there, and it just takes as long as it's going to take, and they do the voting, and after each vote is taken, they add up the numbers, and if they aren't where they need to be, they have to take a break and then just reconvene the next day or whatever. The next session,
right?
Whatever.
They set off the whatever colored smoke they are supposed to,
exactly, and that's all in it too.
Yeah.
What's thrilling about the movie is that during each of these breaks, Cardinal Lawrence, who Ray Fiennes plays, unearths a scandal for each of the cardinals that are the Pope contenders.
Oh.
And each time they reconvene, it affects the voting.
Oh, wow.
Because the scandal gets out like immediately,
That's neat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really clever. It's really clever. And Lucian Msamati plays one of the bishops that is, he's very high in the race. Like he's it's either, they pretty much assume it's either going to be him or the real conservative cardinal that's going to take them back to like
like the guy we had before the current guy. Yes.
Exactly. That's going to take the Catholic Church back to the Dark Ages and everything. And Stanley Tucci plays the more forward thinking, liberal, progressive cardinal. John Lithgow also plays one of the cardinals that is in high. He is he is a contender. Yeah. So the competition there is that's really cool. And again, these scandals being unearthed after each vote and then they reconvene and it changes the vote, and you see how like frustrated and angry they all get, and they all. So
fascinating.
It has a lot of twists and turns.
Sounds like it.
And without giving any more away, it has a very unexpected conclusion.
Ooh.
I will say Isabella Rossellini as Sister Agnes.
Okay.
Is fantastic. She, all the performances are great.
Yeah, you have some really hard hitters here.
But she doesn't say much in the film. She's more of this observer, and you just sort of see her watching everything in the corner, and she's kind of keeping score and taking notes and things like that. And there's a scene when the Cardinals are all eating where she just drops the mic. And it's like you don't expect it at all. Sister Agnes just like drops the mic and just puts all the Cardinals in their place.
Yes.
So, what?
Okay. So, who is this film for?
I think it's for anyone that likes a thriller.
Oh, okay.
It's a good thriller. But you'll get a thriller that's just suspenseful. You're not going to get any blood or chases or anything.
Right. That's usually what you think of when you say thriller. It's like you're looking at the Da Vinci Code where you're running around. Granted, it's sort of Catholic-ish, but it's still
on this
lots of running around and shooting.
And on this right, exactly. And Conclave is not that at all. Conclave is really just about how they pick the Pope.
Would this make a good Broadway show?
Oh my gosh. See, you bring all these things to my attention. That never occurred to me.
Because as far as I'm aware, that's how 12 Angry Men started, is that it was a play, and eventually it was made into several films. So could this go the other way? Could there be a show for this to bring in even more seasoned Broadway actors to do their performances?
Honestly, I think it would be too hokey.
Yeah?
Yeah. It would be. Maybe that's why it would, because people like hokey concepts. I
Is the movie very reliant on things like cinematography and the score?
Oh yes.
Okay.
It is. It's technically, artistically, the film is very much focused on cinematography, score. You get beautiful shots of Vatican City. They literally filmed in the Sistine Chapel, I think.
Oh, yeah, fabulous.
So a lot of the detail too is, and it's really cool too, is like you see like the dorm or whatever, where it's like this long hallway of where the cardinals, each cardinal has a room.
Jeez.
And it sort of gives you like this Murder on the Orient Express kind of a
yeah.
Because like, what's behind this cardinal's door? What's behind this cardinal's door? You know,
each room has a secret of its own.
yeah.
Sounds absolutely fascinating, though.
Yeah, I think this is for anyone that likes thrillers,
A good mystery,
and even and anyone that's sort of into it's Catholic and is sort of into the like Catholic traditions and how they do things there at the Vatican. You know,
interesting. I wonder if my dad could get his wife to watch this because she's fervently Catholic.
Oh yeah, I would definitely recommend it to devout Catholics.
There's nothing really offensive about it. It's not putting a bad light on the Catholic Church. It's just sort of showcasing what it is.
There's a tad bit of indictment of the Catholic Church and its hypocrisy.
Okay,
but it's more the thriller.
Yes,
you know,
uncovering these people's shady dealings.
So their dirty laundry. Yeah,
spiffy.
It's funny you mention your stepmom because you know when I'm in Toronto, in the Greater Toronto area, we call it the GTA. I have family that I see, and I have a friend, I have a buddy that I see movies when I was able to see him this trip, and then I have family that I hang out with, and so of course I hang out with my cousin and her mom and dad, my aunt and uncle. Unfortunately, my aunt was out of town.
Oh no!
My aunt, who is very devoutly Catholic.
Ooh.
And every time I see her, I'm discussing these movies with them, and that because I've already probably seen like a handful by the time I see them.
Right.
Because I see them like right smack in the middle of my trip.
Yeah.
And I don't know how interested she's going to be. And I don't know. She doesn't seem to act real interested in some of the films that I tell her about, you know.
That they tend to be artsy-fartsy fare.
Maybe. But I was so looking forward to talking about Conclave with her. And then I show up and my cousin's like, oh, she's on a cruise. She's on...
You'll have to get her to watch it at some point.
She's on a cruise. She's in Las Vegas. I'm like, oh, I so wanted to talk Conclave. She would love this movie.
A cruise in Vegas?
She went both. She did both.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
She did
okay.
both.
Yeah, because it's like, where are you going to put the boat? On the lake?
So Conclave gets a nationwide release on October 25th.
All right. When does this go into your film festival?
Oh yes. Wow. This is another primetime movie. Yeah, this is gonna this is gonna be competing. With
you're stacking up this primetime show.
There's overlap, you know.
Yeah,
there's gonna be. It's a film festival.
I'm gonna have to extend this festival to like 5 days, and it's like what gets Thursday, what gets Friday.
No matter how long a festival is.
They'll all end up on Saturday night.
It's still, and we're talking public screenings here. When you're asking me these questions, you're asking me where I would place this in a public screening.
Yes.
So there's still overlap in public screenings.
Oh yeah,
no matter how long the festival is.
Yeah,
because there's gonna be some huge buzzy movie.
There's
gonna be more than a handful of these buzzy movies that people are gonna see, and then you sort of don't have any choice but to sort of put them in the time slots that you put them in. So there's always going to be something you can't see.
Yeah,
it's just the reality of attending a film festival.
What films did you miss that you wanted to see?
I missed The Room Next Door, which is Pedro Almodovar's feature film that is his first English language feature film. Yeah,
nifty.
I missed, and it has Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore.
Okay,
and I just, oh my god! Every time I would like switch the schedule, something else would come up that I was like, oh crap, I've got to see this. So like, okay, maybe I can score a public ticket for it, but. That movie, so many people wanted to see that. And I think because it's Pedro Almodovar's first English speaking, full-length feature.
Yeah.
Because he's done English shorts.
Okay.
Like he recently just put out a short that's English language, and it has Pedro Pascal and Ethan Hawke. And it's a gay Western. and the two of them are gay in it, and it's actually really good. And
That's fun.
it's fun to see those two actors sort of just play up the camp, because it's, even though it's a short, it encapsulates in about that half hour the camp that all of Pedro Almodovar films have. And it's really brilliant. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. But yeah, that was probably one I was really disappointed in missing. Yeah.
Any others?
Or
did you manage to get to see all the ones that you did want to see?
Off the top of my head, it's gonna come to me later on. But right now, the biggest disappointment was missing The Room Next Door.
Did you see any films that you regret having seen?
Oh yeah, you know what? There's always stinkers, and they're not worth talking about.
Okay,
they're not.
Okay. I didn't know if you want to like really put one down. It's like, do not go see this film. It is awful.
I've been lucky enough that I only see maybe one or two stinkers at the Toronto National Film Festival.
You're usually pretty good at picking out films you think you'll like.
I am, and I try to see things where I know enough about the filmmaker, too, or
that it would be hard to be disappointed by it.
It'd be hard to be disappointed by, or also again, sometimes I will just see, like you mentioned, I'll just see it because it's something I want to see.
Yeah. And
most of the time, it's a movie that probably I'm the only person that would like it.
Everyone else is there like, ugh.
So technically, it's not a great film, but I thought it was good. and then there's plenty of times where I'll see movies that I think are going to be good. There's, you've got the right filmmaker, you've got the formula there, you've got all the actors, and you're just kind of like, meh.
Yeah, something just did not hit the mark.
This wasn't all that, The anticipation was not worth all this,
That's unfortunate. Yeah. But nothing you want to tell us about. Okay.
Well, maybe later.
Okay. Yeah. Tell us about one of your other favorites now.
Okay. I think I'm going to... How long have we been talking?
Good question. I do not know. Oh, there we go. 42 minutes.
Let's cut this.
Okay.
Let's start another episode.
Alrighty then. So we'll just go ahead and do a little outro. So thanks for listening, or actually thanks for watching. I need to rewrite my copy. I say that every single time. Thanks for watching this episode of Bad Pop Song. And be sure to check out our website, badpopsong.com, for the latest episodes, links to the songs, films, and whatever we discuss, including TIFF. Tune in next time when Bo continues to take us on a wondrous magic carpet ride of filmdom.
It's just more TIFF.
Until then, I'm Dan.
I'm Bo.
Have fun.
Stay groovy.
Woo!